Hello everyone, friends and enemies. It's been a hot minute since we've reviewed a Marvel Legends figure, and this one is fresh. So fresh. Patrick just picked her up today and he's very excited for her. As usual, I don't have as much of an attachment to this character. Despite majoring in sequential art, I was never big into the Marvel comics. But he's excited, so I'm excited. So let's take a look at Marvel Legends Warbird. I keep wanting to say Warboard, like that guy from Despicable Me. Warbird. Standard Marvel Legends packaging, at least since they went back to using plastic again. For a while they were going with the no plastic packaging, and that turned out to be not so great. I mean, I didn't mind it, but there was a big problem with people getting defective items because they couldn't really see what they were getting, and also people easily stealing from the packages. It was just a bit of a mess, unfortunately. Celebrating 85 years of Marvel. Goodness, is that how long it's been? You get an illustration on the back, and I usually think that the illustration looks better than the figure. But in this case, the figure, I think, looks a lot better. Just something about the hair and the mask area in this drawing just isn't doing it for me. No offense to the artist, that's just a personal opinion. So Patrick wanted this so bad that he got up at 6 in the morning and made the journey to various Targets to try and find it. Imagine being so passionate about a woman. So I guess people were saying that she seems a little bit small for a Marvel Legend. Like I said in the beginning, it's been a while since I've opened a Marvel Legend, but I think I have to agree, she is a bit smaller than I remember the typical Marvel Legend being, even when it comes to other female characters. I'm not saying that is a bad thing at all. In fact, I tend to prefer figures being smaller because they take up less room. They're a little bit easier for my little fingies to manipulate. Yeah, she does seem a little bit small. She looks amazing. What a beautiful figure. This design is already pretty cool. I think the colors work really great together. All these blacks and then the pop of gold that goes along with the nice yellow blonde hair. The abruptness of this red scarf thingy. And I like the way it arcs around her thighs. And the boots are sculpted on. It's not just a line of paint. That's nice. Though there is a line of paint around her hip area. That seems like a strange choice. I think even if it's more accurate or whatever to have this costume ride up a little higher, I think it would look better if the black just went all the way down on this torso hip piece. There is also a little bit of weirdness with the tail end of this lightning bolt. The lightning bolt terminates onto this crotch piece, which is separate from this torso piece, so it can kind of get moved out of alignment sometimes. But then there is this sash, so that should cover it up a little bit. I really like the head sculpt. It looks awesome. Intense eyes. She's got a little bit of a blush on her cheeks. She's got that thin mask that ostensibly does nothing to hide your identity. Her hair is beautiful. I feel like Marvel Legends can be a little bit hit or miss with the hair. I guess that goes for pretty much all Hasbro figures, but they did a really good job on this. It's sculpted really nicely. The paint is really nice too. Nice layers. Yeah, she looks very cool. The hair is rubbery, so it shouldn't really get in the way. It's also swept to the side, which should add to the head articulation. Unfortunately, she doesn't get much head up, which is always a bummer for flying characters, but it is what it is. Very nice butterfly joint. Looks kind of disjointed a little bit. You've got so many gaps in this arm area, but as I've said before, things like that don't typically bother me. They'll probably bother some people, but not me. I like a good butterfly joint, and I like that we're getting more female figures with butterfly joints and double elbows and bicep swivel. Speaking of bicep swivel, she does have one. She also has a double elbow. Look at that. Truly, this is the equality my ancestors fought for. Tiny, tiny wrist on a swivel and a hinge. Torso swivel. Ooh, and a crunch. What a pleasant surprise. You also, of course, get this hinge down at the waist. So you don't get a twist there, but you do get a nice hinge. Let's look at her thighs, since they are very, very prominent. Up to the side. Oh, not so much in the back though, because once again we run into that typical problem of her butt being too rotund and dropping down too far. So she can't really kick her leg all the way back. You either get to have a thick butt and not kick your leg back, or a less thick butt and you can kick your leg back. Which would you prefer? And I don't mean like which would you prefer on a woman, I mean which would you prefer on yourself. Weird swivel at the thigh, double knee, calf to back of the thigh, that's very nice. Hinge and rock on ankle. So I typically find Marvel Legends articulation to be pretty good, kind of standard, but I'd say aside from her head not being able to look up very much, I think the articulation on this one is fantastic. And it's really easy to accomplish. There's not much to get in the way of whatever pose you desire. Pretty much the only thing standing in your way is the sash, which is easily movable. Should not be a problem. Yeah, I heard people were kind of freaking out about this one and really wanting it, and I can see why. It's a beautiful figure. Patrick said that this morning while he was out getting it, someone else was there looking for one, and when that guy got his, he said something like, "Isn't she beautiful?" So people were really excited for this one. She is beautiful. She is also made of plastic. I want to remind you guys that this is not a real woman. So she does come with a few accessories. Most notable among them will be this alternate head portrait. It's got a little bit of a, I hate to say this, but kind of like a waifish bimbo look. I feel like that is really harsh, but I can't think of what else to call it in this moment. Just kind of like a vacant stare with the mouth a little bit open. It's not a good look for anyone. Yeah, maybe there's a reason for it, but I do not prefer this kind of expression on a female figure, much less any figure. But I mean, it's still a great head sculpt. The mask is like slightly textured and shiny. It looks really nice. And the mask is also different than the one we get on the head that's already attached. It's a little bit thicker. Of course, the hair is different too. More voluminous. Less windswept. There's a lot more of it. But I can tell you one thing, there is not a thought going on between those eyes. She'll come with alternate hands, and it's been a while since I've had this complaint. We get one splayed hand, which is very nice. Very tiny. We also get this alternate powers using hand, and I don't know if they've updated the sculpts for these, but I have gotten so tired of this like default female, like magic power using hand. I mean, I know it's accurate to the comics because they always do this weird thing, and I hate it. I hate it. Please, I'm begging you, just come up with a different kind of hand gesture for the use of powers. Why not like a claw? That'd be cool. I don't know. It's just a pet peeve of mine. We also get these power effects, and I'm sure we have seen these before in other releases. They look very familiar. They're just orange this time. So let's put the other head on, see how that looks. Got a pretty large dumbbell joint there. It tilts back really far, so in theory, she should be able to look up more, but this head is definitely not going to be able to look up very much. I mean, there's no denying that she looks beautiful, but she also looks like she's taken too many Xanax. You know what I mean? She's disassociating hard. And like, girl, same. Now these hand joints are going to be very small, so be careful. I don't typically have a problem with the joints of Hasbro figures, but they can be pretty thin. So it's just something to watch out for. Put on this swirly durly. Doesn't quite match with the expression on her face. She doesn't seem to know what she's doing. I'm kind of harping on this alternate head quite a lot, and I'm sorry for that. It's just not a single brain cell in there. Not a single one. So let's put the other head back on, because I prefer that one. Just got a little bit more attitude, which is how I prefer my Carol. Yes, she looks awesome. So I've got a few different figures to compare. Oh my god. Okay. So I've got a few different figures to compare her to. We've got Black Widow and we've got Ultimates Captain America. And you know, Warbird doesn't really look that small comparatively. I mean, of course she's going to be smaller than Cap. She looks about on par with Black Widow. The heads might be a little bit different. Widow's head looks like it's probably bigger than Carol's, but her head in general looks a little bit big for her body, whereas I think Carol seems more accurate. But then again, it's hard to tell with all that hair. But yeah, the heads on Marvel Legends I found kind of vary wildly scale-wise. Also, now that I'm looking at this Black Widow, she looks kind of like a Liliana. I've been playing a lot of Dragon Age. She looks just like Liliana. Could make a Liliana action figure. Will I? No. Here we have her with two rogues. And yeah, she does look quite a bit smaller than them. This one is the X-Men 97 animated Rogue. So stylistically it's just different. This one, the body looks about the same, but the head is so much larger. Patrick was wondering if this head would fit on the Miss Marvel body, and I think it would look wildly, wildly out of place. It just would be too huge, I think. I guess let's find out. Oh yeah, that looks... That's pretty big. That's pretty big. I mean, not horrifically so, but it definitely looks out of place. And last, we have this lady from Andor. I forgot her name. It's Val something, I think, maybe. Anyway, since people were talking about how this figure is pretty small, I wanted to compare her against this very, very small figure. She is supposed to be in scale with the rest of the Andor figures, so the rest of the Black Series. But she is so, so, so tiny. And I'm assuming that's because the actress herself is probably like 4 feet something. So yeah, compared to her, Warbird is massive. So if she's 4 foot something, Carol's probably 5'3", maybe? I feel like Carol's supposed to be taller than that. Despite being a woman, I don't really know what the average height for women is. I think it's supposed to be like 5'4" or 5'5", but I'm 5'3", and that's considered pretty short, apparently, so I don't know. All I know is that I can't reach the top of the cabinet, and it's a real bummer sometimes. I have to use a fork to get things down. This lady probably has to use a yardstick. So yeah, it's been good to look at a new Marvel Legend. It's been a while. I do like her. She looks really cool. She looks pretty fierce. I like the sculpt. I like the paint. I like the costume. I can forgive the use of the magic hand. I don't like this head. It is a beautiful sculpt. And again, beautiful paint. All in all, it's a very nice alternate head portrait, but man, that expression just totally kills it for me. This one is a lot better, in my opinion. Thank you so much for watching. As always, likes and subscribes are very much appreciated. Comments are more than welcome. And I will see you guys on the next one.